microphone test. Let's make sure the audio is fine. Media source, yeah, this should be fine. Let me make sure. Can you guys hear me? If you guys can hear me, let me make sure. This should be fine. Let me make sure. Okay, looks like the audio is fine. So yeah, good morning everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is again a next live Q&A which I try to do every week if possible, if I get time, around 9:30. So if you are joining in today, hello and welcome everybody, and feel free to use the comment window which you should be seeing live over this way. You should be seeing live over this screen over here, and you can post any of your questions that you have and I can try to answer those questions. So with that being said, we open up the floors for questions from the audience now. Okay, so all right, I'll be here for about 30 minutes, and any questions that I can answer today, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Couple of updates, by the way. Meanwhile, you guys are just joining in today. The first update that I have for you is, for all the Apache Hudi users, right? I think Hudi has released a Python client where you can read data from Hudi without Spark, right? And the library of the Python library is called Daft. There is a plugin section for Hudi where you can now read Hudi dataset without Spark. So try to take a look at it. It's pretty cool. So that's an update that I wanted to give you. And meanwhile, please join in and ask your questions if you have any. Okay. I'm also in the process of making more videos on data lakes without Apache Spark. I was playing around, yesterday, with Delta Lakes and Iceberg. What I found is like these Python client, they support append operation, they support override operation. But I had a hard time locating or finding updates, because updates or upserts are a little bit tricky, right? You have to first locate the file group and then you have to read all the records and then you have to create a new file. It's a little bit tricky. So I'm trying to see if the Python client, which means the non-Spark version, does have upsert or write functionality. So that's something that I'm going to be looking at today. And in the meanwhile, use the chat window as possible if you have your questions. I'll be here for about 30 minutes, so please use the time and ask any questions that you have. So those are all the updates that I have. So yeah, I'm working on some videos where I am planning to make data lakes without Spark, right? So that's something that I wanted to show to my audience, All right, so now we'll wait for some questions if you guys have any. So whoever is joining in right now, welcome everybody to the live stream. And please post your comments or chats in the Q&A box over here, and we should be seeing that live over here, and hopefully we can answer some of the questions today. I usually do around 9:45 Eastern time, on Sundays. So that's the time when most of the people are available. So I try to use that particular time slot. Oh, also, I'm also working on some videos where I'm gonna show you how to build, data lakes through Trino as well. So that's something also on the to-do list. Oh, we have our first user says, Kip Bina says, what's your view on Apache NiFi? So one of my buddy, he works at Databricks. He uses Apache NiFi quite a lot. I asked him like, hey, bro, you think I should be learning NiFi? He said only few old legacy companies using NiFi, because most of the items now have been modernized. So only few old legacy company would use NiFi. So again, I hope that answers the question. Until then, if you have any other questions, please use the chat window. Anything, it doesn't have to be related to software engineering. It doesn't have to be related to data. You can just be like, hey, what about jobs in US? Is there jobs in US? How's things going on? Like anything in general, I'll be more than happy to be transparent and talk more about the topic if needed. So yeah, meanwhile, use the chat window and ask as many questions as possible. No questions are small or stuff, right? Make sure you ask. Don't be afraid to like post your questions, right? I myself, like when I'm going like learning something new, I ask thousands of questions like, hey, how do I do that? Hey, how do I do that? What about this? What about that? Right? And that's the way you learn, right? Nobody knows everything, and asking questions is the best way to learn and explore the item in detail. So. All right. Any other questions? Use the window, please, and ask them live. If you are unable to attend today for some reason, maybe you are away or you're out and you're watching this maybe tomorrow, I will also try use the chat window and just leave the comments in the video section below, and then I can try to review them and get back to those questions. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna enjoy my nice Indian tea. So yeah, if you have questions, use the window over there, and more than happy to talk and debate about that. One thing I want to say, maybe since we do not have right now questions, so one thing I want to talk about is, you know, it's been challenging like to do YouTube videos, learn stuff, at the same time have a 9 to 5 job. It's actually very very difficult. It's not that easy that it sounds like, because you're already exhausted after a 9 to 5, and then learning new things. You again gotta sit. Long day already, and it's hard. It's challenging. I must say that. So what you can do is what tip I can provide you as a friend would be. Set up times like Saturday or Sunday. Maybe Saturday works best for you, or maybe Sunday. Use one of the days and then try to set up a fixed schedule. Like, hey, you know what, 9 to 11 Saturday, I'll study whatever. I don't blogs, this YouTube videos, whatever. I just casually gonna look into it and then go from there. So I think if you have that habit and if you do that over years and years, I think that's something will help you. Because I understand it's extremely difficult, and then same with me too. Like with 9 to 5 job, it's just impossible to like learn new things. But maybe in the night when I'm about to sleep, I'll read something. Maybe Saturday or maybe Sunday. That's the best way you can do. We have Ajay Kumar here says, which is good, Dynamo or Mongo? How to choose? Great question. First of all, they both are NoSQL data stores, right? They both have streams. Mongo comes with its own Mongo stream. Dynamo comes with its DynamoDB streams. Mongo also has a cloud version where you do not have to worry about servers. They would basically scale it for you. And same goes with Dynamo. It is serverless, etc., etc. Now, coming about queries, right? On Dynamo, your query pattern, you have to know how you're gonna query the data. Meaning, you have to define the PK, you have to define the SK, global sort index, and all of that. But in Mongo, no, that's not the case. You can just query the data however you like. There's no like, set rule, right? Mongo also supports sharding, right? So that's something also available on Mongo. So now let's drill down in terms of cost, right? I know, like, now this is one of the most trickiest conversation to have. See, we compared both of them, right? Dynamo and Mongo in terms of like all these stuff. I would say if you want something easy, something fast, ready to go for Dynamo. But if you want something where you need a little more a finer control, and I would say go for Mongo. In terms of cost, it would all depend upon the volume of data, right? If the data is small, it doesn't really matter, right? But if the data is huge, right, then I think a lot of things you can probably need to consider, right? Also, talking about CDCs, right? Dynamo has Dynamo streams, Mongo has Mongo streams. Also, Debezium, if you have like Kafka or Debezium stack, Mongo works much better. Like Flink has connectors for like Mongo. So I would say in terms of like plugins and connectors and stuff, I think Mongo would be a much better. But again, this is just my suggestion, right? You don't have to do what I said. We have Hadish Subhash says, what would need to change for the solution to scale to work with a 10 terabyte data sets with 5 GB of new data incoming every day. Wow, that's a quite lot of massive data. First of all, I would say Dynamo will soon add that cost very fast, and so does Mongo. I would say maybe Subhas, I would recommend or maybe suggest. I would say I use the word suggest here. I would say having a data lake would be the best possible approach, because you will pay pretty cheap for the storage, right? Since you have that huge amount of volume coming every day, right? So storing that on S3 or MinIO buckets would be one of the best ways to separate the processing and the storage layer, right? And your processing could be either Spark, or it could be either Flink, or whatever you decide. And then for queuing system, you can either use Kafka or any other thing that you probably like. And then you can ingest that in a stream oriented fashion or a batch oriented fashion into your open source data lake or MinIO data lake or S3. It doesn't really matter. I would just say storage layer at the end of the day. And for querying this huge amount of data, I would say, see, the problem is like when you use Athena, right? And if you're gonna run a lot of queries much often, that bill does add up very, 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 very fast. I've seen this in my personal company, this company that I work in. The bill goes like whoop, like and also if interns are coming and they're running like simple query and they don't know what they don't know what they're doing, like select star blah blah blah. And if you have a 50 terabyte table, boom, $1,000-$2,000 gone for the company like that. Anyway, so what I'm saying, data lakes, and for query you can either use Trino or Presto or Spark. That would be the best possible suggestion, Subhash, that I would want to offer you. Again, you don't have to go with what I say, but this is a suggestion I am offering from based on your questions. But great question, Subhas. Any other questions? Please, go ahead, use the window, and more than happy to, talk about that. Yeah, I think 5 GB of new data also should be handled easily every day, right? Yeah, I think it should be handled, right? Spark should be easily able to manage that data, depending if it is a streaming or batch. I think this is something it should be easily handled. Any other questions? If you have, use the window, and more than happy to talk and discuss about that. So yeah, so again, based on that, please use the appropriate stack for that. And also, I would say at the end of the day, choose the stack that you are probably more comfortable with it, because I believe at the end of the day, you are the dev, you are the person who will be managing and responsible for that, right? So choose the weapon carefully that you know to operate, right? And that's what I'd like to say. Yeah, by the way, we can talk a little bit about, we talked about data and all this stuff. Yeah, fine, great. Let's talk about the economy as well in general. Right now, I would say the job market is terrible. It's terrible. I think we are very, very close into a recession everywhere with that I see. Less number of jobs, lot of layoff. Amazon, Google, Apple, lot of companies are laying off employees. I think overall things are a bit hard everywhere. It's not that easy. Inflation is at high, in the US particularly about 3.8, 3.9%. So things are extremely hard, So tough times, but all I would say in this tough time would be, try your level best to skill up your skills, pace up your skills and learn as much as you can, because that's the only way to you would survive in the job market. Because you have to be one of the best, you have to be one of the person who offers value, you have to be one of the person who will help the company to grow and make more money, and then and only then they will want you. And at the end of the day, all I would say is be honest, be humble, and work hard. And I think that's the way to go in life. Let me see, my focus is not. Let me see my camera. Okay. that should be good. So yeah, everywhere, so that's a little bit I wanted to talk about the economy in general. If any of the students are watching this video, probably any students who are planning to study abroad, right now, please don't come. That's just straight what I would say. Just based on what I see in the job market and based on the situation that I see for a lot of the students, I feel so bad. I feel so terrible. People have mortgaged their house, lands, and a lot of stuff. They have taken bank loans, and when people come to study abroad and they don't find jobs, it's hard. It's terrible. And also, with what's going on in the economy, it's extremely hard to find a job and layoff everywhere, here and there. So, anybody who's watching this video, who's planning to come to abroad study right now, in at least in the US, I would say, be careful. Please, if you're gonna spend like 60, 70, 80 lakh rupees and come here to get an education, and at the end of the day, if there are no jobs and if you're mortgaging your house or farm or land, that's terrible, and it doesn't go usually well. And also the amount of stress that the student goes through, whoever comes here because of visa and all these other stuff, it's just terrible at the end of the day. So yeah, if any student does watch, and if anybody gets this insight, I just wanted to provide this honest, unbiased insight about what things are in the economy right now. Yep, fresher students who graduate are not finding internships, or rather hard to find internships. I would use the word hard to find internships. Open up LinkedIn right now if you want, and just go over, like, you'll see how many layoff and laid off or not getting job and people around this visa situation, this and that. You will see what I'm talking about. Nobody want to talk about this, or probably won't want to talk about this, but this is the fact, this is the reality, this is what's going on here. And my job is to make sure that you are aware about that, because my YouTube channel is not just about data or AWS or this or that. It's also about giving you the right advice and the right guidance that you need. So I hope that helps. And if you have any other questions, please use the chat window, and I'm more than happy to discuss and talk about. So it's almost like 9:50. I'm gonna be here for 10 more minutes. So please use the opportunity to ask questions if you want. More than happy to discuss and talk about that. For new students who are trying to get into data, try to make your portfolio website. Make sure you have your own website. Make sure you develop your GitHub profile. Make sure you're engaging in open source project. Make sure your LinkedIn profile is up to date. Make sure your resume is up to date. Make sure you're putting all the required keywords in your resume. Make sure you're connecting with most of the people. Make sure you're writing more number of blogs. Do all these stuff. This will really help you guys. When you are or wanna switch for a new job. All these things will help you a lot. Trust me. Look at yourself as a brand. Try to develop your own brand. That does help, is all I would say at the end of the day. So yeah, until then, if you have other questions, happy to talk and discuss about. You can see the chat window right here, and please go ahead and ask these questions. We have Hema Priya, Python expert, says, sir, if we have a career gap more than 10 years, will it be difficult? See, I don't think it's difficult. See, it's like when you learn swimming, right? You learn swimming for a lot of years, and then when the situation comes, let's say you are in an emergency, you know the swimming, you have the skills, right? It's not that so what I'm trying to relate this with this an example is, like, even if you have a 10 years gap, it doesn't matter. You have learned programming, you know the basics, you have learned the fundamentals, you have done that. All it is need to do is now you just need to pace up on that. For example, let me give you a very good example. Knife that we used to cut like vegetables, when it becomes blunt, right? After you chop a lot of stuff and then you keep it in the drawer for a long time, what happened? It becomes blunt, right? What do? Do you throw the knife? No, right? You basically sharp it, and then you can back again, you can cut it, right? So what I'm giving you an example, Priya, here, is basically the same example of knife, right? If it is blunt, you don't throw the knife, you sharp it again, right? So I don't think it'll be difficult. I think it's just a matter of time where you can just keep reading and keep pacing up. So yeah, I don't think it should be difficult at all because you have the basics, you have the knowledge, you have been there, you know the fundamentals, so it should be a piece of cake. Yeah, it'll be a little difficult because you are after a long time you're trying to adapt, but I think it should be doable is all I would say. I hope that helps. If you have other questions, please use the window, and I would be happy to answer that again. I don't know, my focus on my camera for some reason. Probably this one. Okay. All right. Any other questions that I can answer today? Please use the window and ask them. Ajay Kumar here says, for online edtech app, how will you choose the database SQL or no SQL? Oh, it's a great question, man, Ajay. So usually, like again, all people will have different perspective and views on this, but here is how I like to go. When you're starting a new project, or let's say you're a startup and you're just trying to get started, first of all, you are very cost sensitive, right? You don't want to spend much money on like all the resources. What you want to focus is on making money. Number one part is like, okay, are you making money? If you're generating enough revenue, okay, then invest in like tech and startup. So to begin with, here is my advice. Again, you do not have to follow what I say, but this is again my honest advice. If I'm a startup, right, if I'm starting something, right, what would I do? I want to start something on-prem. I'll just rent a simple server, and then simple monolith, right? Nothing fancy, no fancy stuff. Simple monolith, Postgres or whatever, or Mongo. Use Mongo. Get your app, get your customer. Once you reach 1,000, 2,000, or 5,000 customers, and you have enough money flowing in, then go for all these fancy stuff. Okay, then think about, okay, let's optimize this database. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this and that. Not right at the earlier stage. If you're starting something for a POC, I would say go bare minimum, go like monolith, and once you have enough money, you have proven it, you have revenue coming in, then okay, now go for cloud and this and that. That would be my suggestion. But again, depending upon the context, I do not have context to the statement. You said, online edtech app, but I don't know, are you starting that, or is it already it's generating revenue? So if you can give me some context, I would love to answer that more. Priya says, I was into banking field, non-IT earlier, and now I am learning AWS. That's great, Priya. I think AWS has a lot of scope. The demand is only gonna increase, right? People need cloud engineer. People need, people or company needs engineers to maintain their databases, maintain their, cloud infrastructure, etc., etc. So it's not gonna, it's nothing like it's gonna vanish like in next couple of years. It's always gonna be there. So I think doing cloud would be the best thing that you are probably doing. So yeah, that's good. Any other questions, guys, I can answer today? Please use the window there. So for Ajay, hopefully, does my answer, I hope my answer did help you. So yeah, if it's a very, very early stage and you're doing, I think going bare minimum would make sense. So it's running app and need optimization for online tutorials for 10,000 users. Okay, so if you have that 10,000 user and if you're generating that much money, then it does make sense to spend on the infrastructure and resources and to upgrade that. So yeah, I wouldn't say one database would probably solve any issues. I think you might also want to consider multiple database, right? Any relational data you want to store it in a relational database, and any like clickstream or views or any of the analytics you can probably store in some NoSQL data store, and then you can, if needed, again depending upon how much resources, how much engineers you have, you can now think of building a data lake, bring the data into S3, or if you're on-prem, maybe MinIO, bronze, silver, gold, and then dashboards, again same thing. That would be my advice here. Any other questions that I can answer? Ajay, does that probably answer the question that I gave you? Happy to connect with you after this live stream as well if needed. If you wanna just drop in your email, I can just drop in a hi, and then if you want, we can probably discuss more. But again, if it's the way I see things is like, first, like the way I was like raised and brought up was, every time, like we didn't have that much money, right? And so we always like, learn to save money, right? And that's why anytime I see on the cloud and I see, oh, thousands and thousands of dollars of bill, I'm like, well, so the first thing that one of the principles that I usually like to follow is, okay, number one, do I have the customers? Do I have the proof of concept? Yes, if I do have customers, if I do have proof of concept, and if I do have revenue coming in, then I'll say, all right, makes sense. I have the money. Okay, now let me spend on the, on the infrastructure. So first I'll just go with monolith, bare minimum that does the job and makes me money that I want. Once that is done and I have enough customers flowing in, and I see bottleneck, okay, now all right, you know what? Let's break this down into cloud or like in a microservice, and then go from there. But for the beginning part, when you're starting something new, bare minimum, because you want to keep the cost as low as possible. So all right. Any other questions that we can answer today? It's almost 10, so we'll take a couple of more questions. I'll be there for a couple of more minutes if you have any other questions, and would be happy to answer them. Empriya says, do you conduct any online courses for AWS DevOps, sir? Priya, I actually do not do that because I believe I can go into that particular field, but that's probably, I would probably lie to you everybody on this YouTube video, where my channel was all about helping people, and now I'm trying to get like smuggish and trying to make like buck here and buck there and buck there here and there. I can definitely make those Udemy and all this, all these courses, and I can sell you. But then what's the difference between most of the YouTuber and me? I did not start my channel for money or revenue. Then it'll be like, yeah, then I'll be like promoting stuff like, hey, at the end of the, hey, take this course, take that course. It's just all this. I think, see, Priya, I think everything is available on the YouTube. Everything is available on the internet. You have all the information on the tip of your fingers, right? You just type the words in Google and you'll find anything that you want. Everything is free these days. Everything. Go to YouTube. There are so many playlists. So I don't think you need to really pay for any courses. But if you do find value, if you genuinely believe that person is gonna give you the value that you are looking for, then and only then pay. Because most of the people on the internet, they're just trying to sell you this and that and this and that, just trying to make money from you. That's about it. I know it's harsh, but that's true, and that's the reality. So that's why I say internet is, I have all the information. All you need to do is a Google search here and there, and should do the job. And unless you find value in some course and you believe, yeah, this person has the content, he has the knowledge, he has been there, and he has putting all the 10 years of his knowledge in like couple of videos in an organized way, then yes, go and pay for it. Otherwise, every other guy is just like trying to take like buck, you know what I mean? So anyway, Andril here says, hey, I have no particular question, and will watch the full stream later. Just came to greet, say thank you for all of your work, and wish you the great for the stream. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you very much. And if in any other way I can add value to your life or contents, please let me know. Okay. And also, if you have any other question, please use the chat window. This is an amazing opportunity for you guys to connect with me and ask questions over here. So please do not hesitate. No question is small or big. Make sure you ask the questions here. Yeah. So Ajay has a question. Let me zoom in a little bit. I have a little hard time reading this, so hopefully everybody can. I have seen AWS reInvent where people have discussed scenarios with negative use case. If you prepare a video with a business scenario and negative scenario specifically, Ajay, you know what's gonna happen? I'll tell you honestly, brother. See, if I let me say, yeah. So the thing is, see, they are. I'm glad you asked this question. First of all, the harsh reality, Ajay, is, see, AWS is here to make money. Okay. Keep all the good things on the side for a second. Okay, honest answer, right? Let's be real, right? AWS is here to make money, and they only make money by you using their services, and they only make more and more money by you using all the services, doing all these things on AWS. That's okay. That's long story short, right? By me talking on these topics, basically will have me on all these controversial topic which I don't wanna, right? I wanna live my life in a nice, peaceful way. I try to avoid controversies as much as possible. With that being said, again, I think you're pretty smart enough to get this, but AWS is here to make money. The only way they make money is by selling their services to you guys, right? So it's your job to know what to use and when to use and how much to use, right? Because at the end, they are generating billions and billions of dollars in cloud revenue. Amazon just had their what you say earnings, and you will see if you read the financials like the balance sheets and the cash flow. Most of the money is made from the cloud sector. So I think that says everything a lot, right? So also, yeah. I mean, so also everybody's just trying to be like Gen AI, this and that chat box and here and there. It's all. Well, let me think about the right word to use here. Yeah, well, it's almost like it's hard to say, but it's almost like fake it until you make it, But that's about it. But I mean, anyway. So yeah, they're all trying to sell you this and that, this chatbot and that chatbot, and ask yourself what's gonna make you money and how's revenue gonna be improved, right? At the end of the day, that's all I have to say. Yeah, that's all. Hembria Python says, "Sir, I'm not getting a proper roadmap for AWS in YouTube. How many AWS services should I learn?" Yeah, so Priya, what you can do is you can pick up a particular domain, right? Storage is one of the domain, and compute is one of the domain. In storage, you can learn about, let's say, compute, right? You can learn about EC2, batch, lambdas, right? So then you can study these particular topics in compute. So don't go like everything, just go by like category, like storage, compute, databases. In databases, you have like RDS and Dynamo and this and that. And then you have like, ETL and data stuff where you can do like glue and all these stuff. So I would say go by category, and hopefully that should not overwhelm you, and that should give you like a complete good roadmap. Excuse me. So I would say Priya, start with compute. Compute is a very very nice area, and in that also start with lambdas, one of the most popular. Start with AWS Lambda. Start learning about that. Then slowly go into EC2 instances, then slowly go into AWS batch and go from there, and then go into storage, S3 and this and that. So I hope Priya, that advice will help you. Any other questions, guys? I'll be happy to answer them. Please use the chat window. So again, I keep saying, and through my YouTube post as well, my channel is just not about data engineering or AWS in general. This channel I started 15 years back just to help people and help people only. I've made so many contents without worrying about likes or views or whatever that's gonna happen. My goal is to help. My goal is to tell you the truth. My goal is to show you the right path, right? Because at the end, not many YouTubers are gonna do this. A lot of YouTubers are just gonna be like, "Hey, buy this course. Hey, buy that course." At the end of the day, and I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to sell any course, to you. I'm here to provide knowledge and guidance, and that's the only motto of this particular channel right now. Wow, that was amazing Q&A today. A lot of questions today, so it was fun. We'll take a couple of more, and I think then I'll wrap up. I need to cook food today, so hopefully we'll take a couple of more questions, and then we'll end the session for the day. So any other questions? Yeah, please use the chat window before we close the live stream for the day. Okay. Any other question, guys? Before we head off, please use the chat window. happy to talk to you about that particular topic. In case if you maybe are joining in later on, and if you see these videos later, I would say you can leave definitely a comment on this video, and I will definitely read those comments on this video, and then I'll try to answer them. But with that being said, I'll take a couple of more questions, 5 to 10 more minutes. If you are a senior, or if you are a mid-level or in the management, always try to be nice, try to be humble to your juniors, try to motivate them, try to show them the right path. Don't try to be like, oh, go this documentation, that documentation, this link, that link. Please don't be that guy. We all be the person, be the senior. Like all I'm saying is be the person that you like other people would love to be with you, right? At the end of the day, it's not the tickets, it's not the task, it's a person who will be remembered how you treated them, right? At the end of the day. So tickets, task, story, this, that is always gonna be there. It's never ending, never ending. It's always there, but treat people wisely, be nice to them, help them, motivate them, talk to them, become friends with them, know them better, right? That's something will help you in your professional life a lot, rather than just tickets and tasks. So that is also important. But again, be nice, be humble, be helping nature to everybody. That's all I have to say at the end. Any other questions before we head off, guys? We'll take a couple of more questions if you want. One or two more questions, and then I'll wrap up for today. So any other questions, please use the chat window. Okay, so if there are no questions, I'll wait for 5 more minutes, and then we are gonna wrap this today Q&A. 5 more minutes. If you have any questions, you may use the window right there, and you may just add your questions in the window. We have a question again from Priya. Says, sir, please post AWS videos. I have seen few of your videos, very informative. Thank you for patiently answering the question. First time I have got so much information in a video. Definitely, again, always happy. And again, if you want to connect more, I'll provide you my email address, my personal email, by the way, where you can ask me more questions. My response might be a little bit delayed, but again, I'll try. My answers will be honest, might be blunt, but it will help you, is all I would say. Okay, we have a question from Ramon Carlos. First of all, hi Ramon Carlos. Consider cost allocation by project. Say 3 projects need SQL. It is a cost effective to consolidate into a single SQL instance, but hard to attribute the cost. How best to handle the situation? Carlos, are we saying that for the project you probably are considering 3 SQL databases, and for cost situation you are considering to merge into one? Is that the question? I'm just trying to make sure I understood that. If that is the question, I think first of all, let me make sure I understand that. Individual SQLs, thereby spending more on trying to measure ingression. No, I would. We want to divide the SQL cost into each project. But Carlos, isn't the same thing? At the end of the day, the bill is paid to the credit card, the company's credit card. Either you divide by project, but isn't the cost gonna be still same? Just asking, just out of curiosity, right? If you could tell me a little bit. Again, also I might want to ask you, like, why would you need, or what would be the need of having 3 separate databases? Because then now you gotta manage 3 different connection string. Why not just use one database and then create like separate, by project, right? It will help you to save cost, and then if you want to scale up, and then if you when you come to that point, first of I don't understand why like, I think it will be probably, what's the right word to use here? I think depending upon use case by use cases, but I don't think you would need 3 different database per project. One database should do the job. I think it's just like money will be spent a little more, I mean, Say different countries in yeah, then oh yeah, okay, yeah, that explains, see, the use case, right? As I said, so if that's the case, then yeah, if you have, let's say, in India, or let's say Europe, or America, yeah, and then you gotta have instance in, but Carlos, also, I think, if I'm not wrong, please correct me here. I believe RDS has multi-region. Let me see. I think I read something on that. Hold on. I know, pretty sure. Let me just Google this. I think I read this one. I think AWS does manage that, right? Yeah, this one, deploy multi-region SQL. Yeah, I think it does it. See, I'm gonna send this link to you. So I shared one of the blogs. So because I know, like, I think AWS does that. You don't have to do all these stuff. Like AWS will do all that stuff for us. Also, if I mean DynamoDB has like multi-region. Also, you can just click a button and say, hey, I want to deploy in this and this region. So I think it should be taken care. I don't think you as a dev should be managing all those stuff. You know what I mean? Carlos says, say different countries. Does Carlos, does that answer the question probably, or not? Maybe if not, please let me know. Because AWS, easily manages it, and also in Dynamo, I did a video where back Dynamo. Let me see, DynamoDB, where I built a complete multi-region architecture as well. I think cloud does all of that for you. If I find my YouTube video, I'll probably send you.
Building your online.
I think I found it. I'll send you the link. Yeah, so I sent you the link, Carlos. But also, Carlos, for reporting, you can pull the data into a central data lake, right? Let's say you have region 1, region 2, region 3, right? And now again, depending upon all that GDPR stuff, like I know, like EU data has to be in EU, etc., etc. You can pull the data from all these databases or region, and then basically do all the reporting on the data lake. Does that help, Carlos, a little bit, or do you need more information? Happy to talk more about that. Also, Carlos, in this database you can also create a column, right? I mean, one of the naive way would be, just create a column called region, and then that should act as a filter where you can say, hey, fetch data from this region or fetch data from that region, right? That should be one of the best way to filter data based on the region as well. So anyway, any other questions that I can answer today? All right, I'm going to take one last question. It's almost 10:15, so I have to prepare my lunch as well today. So we'll take one last question and then we wrap up today's session, okay? We'll take one last question and then we are done for the day. Great, thank you, Carlos. Thanks, I'm glad I answered that question. I'll take one more question and then I will wrap up for the day, hopefully. Sure. That sounds good. Any other questions that you guys want to ask, or any other requests that you might want to, you want me to do? Happy to do so. Please use the chat window and put them in the chat window. So I'll wait for one last question if somebody has for about a couple of minutes, and if you guys have, that's great. If you do not have, then you can always use the chat window later on. No problem, Hempriya. I hope everything goes well, and never give up. I think you can easily pace up very, 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 very fast even if you have a gap, so it shouldn't be a problem. All right, I think we took quite a lot of questions today, so I think I'll wrap up for the day. So, well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining the live stream. Your time is very, very precious and valuable, so I really appreciate that you took out the time to join the stream and ask the question. If for some reason I was not able to answer your questions today, you may leave the question in the chat window. I will review them later on when I get time, and then I'll try to post those answers back. With that being said, keep smiling, keep programming, spend time with your loved one as much as possible, take good care of your health, drink plenty of water.